doesn't matter who you are, you can still reach for the stars. With a dream inside your heart, you could turn the world around. There are homeless in the streets, children still need food to eat. So tell me, what's it gonna be? Should we be silent or work together? Imagine a world where we're living together. No matter the color, we love one another. My brothers and sisters, let's lift up each other, unite. Imagine a world where we're living together. No matter the color, we love one another. My brothers and sisters, let's lift up each other, unite.
Family, Hotep, I greet you of God and the ancestors in whose footsteps I most humbly walk. This is Brother Harush of Su'uchat, a.k.a. Brother Umoja. You are on a very special show from Blog Talk, Speaking to Harmony, Piton International Film Festival. As you know, if you don't know by now, you should know that we are going to be speaking to Miss Universe St. Lucia, Miss Louise Victor. I have her on the line already. We're going to be bringing her mic up in 1 second. We're going to be welcoming her to the show. This is going to be an awesome show. So I have someone who's going to be with me, another Lucian like myself, out of the state of Texas. It's 9 o'clock Vegas time, midnight New York time, and it's 1 a.m. St. Lucian time. Okay, so we got 3 time zones we know we're working with. We got some more. We got people in Africa listening to us. I'd like to thank all my friends from Africa who are listening to us right now. All the people in St. Lucia who's listening to us, people in the U.S. who are listening to us. What we're going to do tonight, we're going to be bringing up my special guest with me, Brother Peter Lynn RENE, who is from Texas, who's a Lucian like me out in Houston, Texas. Hey, Peter, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good, thank you.
Hey, welcome to the show. Peter is the CEO, the point person. We had a Houston Caribbean Film Festival, and I'm glad to have him on. Peter, we got Louise on the line, man. We're going to be pushing, so people, you better get your pens out. We're going to give you some paper. We're going to talk to Louise about this voting, what's the importance of us voting for her, and what it does for her in the stand-ins in Miss Universe, okay? So, Peter, man, thank you for joining me tonight on air. I'm hyped about this show because, you know what? Louise is one of ours, right? She's one of ours. The homegrown. Homegrown. And I want to tell all you people who fly the Lucian flag from St. Lucia, been to St. Lucia, love St. Lucia, you need to get behind her, okay? That's what it comes down to. Plain and simple, our vote could help her get to the next level. And let me welcome her to the show. Louise, how you doing?
Hi, Brother Ed. I am honestly very tired, but I'm happy to be on the show. And good night to you, Peter.
Hi, good night to you.
Well, Louise, we know you're tired because you know what, and that's why we sent you out there. Because you know what, this is not easy. This is not easy. This is the gut check right now. For those of us who's listening to her, she's out in Vegas and she's really repping 758 to the max. Okay, so all you Lucians, stick your chest out a little bit more. Everyone who loves St. Lucia, stick your chest out a little bit more because this young lady is out in Las Vegas doing something. Hey, Peter, I know I could be standing on stage with millions of people looking at me. Can you, Peter?
No. I would have to be hiding behind something.
So, Louise, the people of St. Lucia are behind you. I've been getting some great texts and emails and stuff like that. And I just thank all the people who are supporting you. So I want you to just say hello to the people and let them know what's going on, Louise.
Well, hello, everybody. Sending you good vibes from Vegas. I first of all just want to say a huge thank you for the overwhelming support. I know that people had been reaching out saying that just let me know when I'm ready when voting opens, and I'll be ready. I have 6 email addresses. I'll be using all of them, but to actually for it to all be manifesting itself right now is just so surreal. And my journey has been one that is not, I just decided that, hey, I want to do this. It has, I have been working towards this goal for the last 4 years. So to be here right now means a lot to me. And it not only means a lot to me, but it means a lot to me to be able to wear that S on my chest and represent my country. And because like I keep reiterating that they do not call Louise Victor. Nobody knows your name. They only refer to you by your country. And what I have been able to tell people about my paradise is just, you can't really put a price tag on it because some people don't even know where the Caribbean is. And when you speak of St. Lucia, and then I speak very passionately about my country, whether I'm wearing a sash or not. And so for me to be able to be here in that capacity, to be able to do that, it does take it to another level.
Yeah. No, Louise, you just said something, and I want you to jump in when you're a teacher. You just said something, and I want the young people who are listening in St. Lucia and all over, you said this is a 4-year journey. So you've been in Vegas. You've been prepping yourself before. I met you in 2013, and you said you've been prepping yourself for this for the last 4 years. You know.
Yes, I have.
Talk about a little bit of journey. I want the young people who are listening to hear you talk about this 4-year journey that has taken you to this point, because this wasn't an overnight thing, like you said, and you're not. The people that don't know who Louise Victor is, all they know is Miss St. Lucia. So talk a little bit about that, and we're going to come back and talk about the voting. Talk a little bit about that journey, and why did you decide to do this?
Well, for me, I used to think that, my passions were, giving back to my community, being involved in my community, youth development, social work, pageantry. I used to categorize it as that. But, as you mature as an individual, especially spiritually, you become so much more aware of yourself, you become so much more emotionally intelligent, and there's just so much that comes with when that, like, all of this starts to happen. And I realized that my greatest passion is actually growth. Like, I'm not one to just settle and just accept mediocrity and just say that, okay, this is what it is. I'm not going to work towards something more. I always ask myself, what are you learning differently every day? What are you doing differently? And if you're the same person you were yesterday, then it's not a bad thing, but there's always opportunity for growth. And so when I started pageantry back in 2010, having won Carnival Queen and then going on to represent St. Lucia at regional pageants, after my third regional pageant, I knew that I wanted to go all the way to the international stage, and that was in St. Martin. I was at the Miss Caribbean Hibiscus pageant, and that was my first time actually really experiencing racism, because there were a lot of Latin and Central American countries, and the preference was very evident. And I remember being very, 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 very intimidated by Miss Peru. And she in Bolivia had just come off the Miss Universe stage. And I told myself, and Miss Colombia had finished first runner-up in her country for her local show. And I was looking at those girls. I'm like, there's no way I can come up against those girls. I figured, you know what, Louise, you are here. Still give it your best. And it so happened that the top 3, I was actually second runner-up. Colombia was first, and Bolivia won. And I stood there, I looked back, Peru is not up here? And that in itself was empowering for me, not in the sense that I was comparing myself to somebody thinking that they were better than me, but just seeing how well groomed and how well trained they were, and acknowledging that I was not at that level of training, but then I still knew that I was me, and that's the most I could have done was be me. And I remember after that, I said that, you know what, I definitely am going to take this all the way onto the international stage. And thereafter, after that show, I did 3 more regional pageants. And when I did the last one in St. Kitts, finishing as Miss Caribbean Tourism, and I believe that we did a photo shoot the week after I won at Blue Hotel, Brother Ed. And then, and then I said to myself, you know what, I've retired on the regional stage with that crown. So now it's time to go to the international stage, and even on the regional at the regional competitions.
It's still on my phone, and for some reason we lost her. Let's see if we can reconnect with her, Peter. But I think she's still on the call. Okay, she said she doesn't know what happened. Let me see if we can get her. Hey, Peter, talk a little bit about why you are with us on this call tonight. Why I try to get Louise back on.
Well, one of the great things that I like, there was a blog post from, it's called Sashes and Script, and the title was Miss Universe Winner from the Caribbean This Decade Coming Soon. And it's funny that Louise mentioned the Latin girls that she ran into through her journey, because let me read this line from the blog. It says, with already in progress redefining Miss Universe winner, we are hoping that we could see the likes of these girls from the Caribbean and not have them wasted anymore. Caribbean girls have much to offer, just like their Latina counterparts, and that's something that cannot be understated. We have 15 young women from the Caribbean basin, which is more than any other part of the world, including Europe. I believe it would have been more had it not been for the tremendous amount of hurricanes and tropical storms that ravaged our area this past summer. I think that I do believe in pageantry. I think it's a great thing, but I do not feel that our Caribbean nations, individually or collectively, put enough emphasis or resources to really give us the extra oomph that we need, because we have, again, 15 young women representing us this time around, and they do not lack from talent or what have you. I think it's just a little bit more commitment, whether it's from the individual governments, whether it's from CARICOM, whether it's from the Organization of American States, whoever it is in the region. I think what needs to happen is more of a commitment to push these young ladies, to give them the extra step that they need to bring the crown home, and I think it's very possible. In 2014, Miss Jamaica came very close. And I do believe Louise has as good a chance as anyone else in the contest. And I truly believe that crown can come and may come home to the Caribbean this go around with Louise. Also, are you there, Ed?
Hey, Peter, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I heard some of what you said. I was trying to connect with Louise. I was on the other line trying to connect with her. It seems that we're actually connecting with her through 758 number, her number, and for some reason this went dead. So I'm actually trying to reach back out to her. But she, calling through the lines to St. Lucia sometimes is a little bit challenging. And so I'm trying to reconnect with her. She's sending me a WhatsApp message, and I tell her to hold on. Let me try to see if I can get this back online with her. So, Peter, let's take over the show a little bit. Talk a little bit about your film festival and what's going on with that, and as I try to reconnect with Louise, okay?
Okay, no problem. In Houston, my organization, the Caribbean American Heritage Foundation of Texas, we are also strong supporter of the arts and of course the film festivals. June is National Caribbean Heritage Month, and in honor of that, we started the Houston Caribbean Film Festival, which displays Caribbean films, poetry, everything Caribbean, but mainly films during the month of June here in Houston. Houston, it's a very much big Caribbean population here. The Houston has well over 4 million people in the greater Houston area. Of that, 8 to 9% of that population is of Caribbean descent. There are over 19 Caribbean cultural organizations. Of course, we have numerous high-profile DJs, promoters, and so on. So June, we celebrate Heritage Month in a very, very big way. And with Caribbean films this past year, we had 15 films from 10 different Caribbean nations. And what this shows is that there's very much a developing industry in the Caribbean for film. When an industry or an area of the world like the Caribbean can produce 15 to 20 films a year, then that says a lot about our ability to keep up with the time and to create our creative arts. In Houston, there are no shortage of film festivals. There are perhaps 30 to 40 different film festivals a year. And I think adding the Caribbean to the list of festivals has really continued to show Houston as a very diverse city. Of course, voted the most diverse city in the country, and we're home to 94 consulates, of which 6 are Caribbean. We have the Bahamas Tourist Board here. We have honorary consul from the Bahamas here. So it was just really a fitting piece to add a film festival to the already big Caribbean diaspora, and it was very much appreciated and embraced. We're looking for bigger things this coming year. We have opened up submissions for films, and I do believe that this year will match or exceed the 15 films that we had this year. It would be a very good thing to have Louise. We may definitely try to invite her to come and celebrate Caribbean Heritage Month with us, as well as the Film Festival. I think that she would have a lot to offer. She has been, she's toured the region, as she said. She's now on a grander scale, a large international scale, and it would be great to have her come with the crown, of course, to tell us of her experience and so on. She has been an integral part of the Piton International Film Festival in St. Lucia these many years, and she has worked very well with Brother Ed, and I think it would be an absolute pleasure to have her here in Houston next year for the Houston Caribbean Film Festival. We'll have two particular dates. We'll have a date in June, and then we will continue it for another 3 days in early July. So we're anticipating that it is going to be such a big event, and and there are so many events already being planned for June Heritage Month that we are going to split the film festival into June and into July. That would give us the opportunity, of course, to make sure that everyone gets to see the films. Through the past 2 years, we've had 2 films that we have brought and shown by popular demand, and those films were, of course, Jamaica's Diary of a Bad Man and the St. Lucian film Who Are You? I'm still hearing buzz about that, and those 2 films may come back again. But to go back to Louise and the journey for Caribbean nations, small island nations like ours, it is not an easy journey because it is quite costly. The sponsors are few and far between, or they are heavily committed to other projects, making it almost difficult at times to gain sponsorships for this. I truly believe that is what's needed, because there are many, many young ladies. Like, for example, in 2016, we did not have a representative at the Miss Universe pageant. And part of that is just the lack of sponsorships and funding. So that's why I truly believe, whether it's our government or any other government in the Caribbean region, that additional funding and sponsorship and support should be set aside, should be given to these young ladies, because they're not just going to represent themselves, and they're not just representing the country or the region. They are a spokesperson that their parents on the world stage can magnify them in such a way, not only to bring them personal satisfaction and glory, but to also the country they represent, which can in turn spur tourism, spur interest in the country. Of course, lots of Google hits go on during the U.S. University, because everyone is Googling countries to see what this country is and where it is and so on. So there's a lot of synergies that can be created with a carefully packaged sponsorship and support of any given person, such as Louise, as she has well articulated earlier, that her pageantry started in 2010, and she was able to be very successful in the region, and now has moved on to the world stage. So, again, if we are able to speak to our local government and to show them the importance of supporting and really, really supporting these contestants from various countries, and especially in this case, Louise, the interest that her candidacy would be able to spur interest in the country, whether it's tourism. Maybe some investor might say, you know what, she represented the country so wonderfully, maybe we should investigate whether we should be investing in St. Lucia. So I've spoken to several small budding pageantry organizations in St. Lucia, and I've tried my best to support them. I've given several sponsorships, but the challenge still remains getting the sponsors and getting the businesses and those who would sponsor to truly understand the importance of what pageantry is about. It's not just about appearing on stage in various apparel. It is the synergies. Yeah. It's how the person represents the country and what can result from a good representation of the country like St. Lucia.
That's right. That's right, Peter. You're on point with that. It's very important. I'm glad to have you on talking about that for people in St. Lucia who are listening to us. We have Louise back on. We had a little phone difficulty, but we were able to do what we had to do to get her back on. Louise, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Yeah, we got her, Peter. We got her back on. We don't mess with us, Lucians. We'll find a way to find you. We'll get a way to get you back on. But Louise, you heard what Peter, as we were coming on, as we came back, and we heard what Peter was talking about, which is very important. So, what you're doing now about Louise Victor is so much bigger, because you represent St. Lucia on the world stage, Miss Universe contest in Las Vegas. There are people who, like you said before, who have never heard about St. Lucia, don't know what the Caribbean is, and now they find you and see what you're doing. They might get interested in investing in St. Lucia because of what your presence, and that's so important that we understand that. And I know what we were talking about before, but let's jump to the voting. What is the voting about, and what does it do for you?
Okay, so tonight we got a breakdown of how the top 16 will be advancing. Last year it was the top 12, and then the 14th person was chosen through the voting. So the person who got the most votes, or I believe it was the most popular voting overall, had the people from the top 13 be high ranking in the voting, then let's say the four girls would have placed first, second, third, and fourth in terms of the online voting. The fifth person who did not make the cut by the judges, then that person would have made it as the 13th qualifier, what they call the wild card. But this year it's actually been changed to the top 16, and it's being done by region. So we're classified in 3 regions of the Americas, so North and South America as well as the Caribbean, Asia and the Africas, and Europe. So we appear in those. We do our introductions in those 3 regions. As a way of showing that, as opposed to just going in alphabetical order, but it's like the World Cup, you know. They have there's different regions, so that's how it's being brought across this year. So actually, there will be the top 4 girls from each region. They would make it to as the first 12, and then through the voting, then there's 4 additional wildcard placements.
Okay, so basically you're saying that you have an opportunity to be in the top 4, or then the voting can, if you don't get in it, the voting can still put you in there as a wild card for your region.
Correct, yes.
Okay. So this is why the voting is so important. So let's talk about how people vote, because you have the vote and you have the Twitter and so let's talk about what those 2 different things do for your voting for you.
Okay, Brother Ed, I think I'm going to have to reconnect because my supervisor is here and there's some critical information she just brought for us, so I would actually have to get off the phone now. Some information for tomorrow, so I will just send you a message for us to reconnect shortly.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, no problem. Okay.
All right.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Family, you hear that? She did some critical information, so she had to jump off the phone to take that information, Peter. This is live radio. We are live in Vegas with Miss Louise Victor, Miss St. Lucia Miss Universe St. Lucia. And as you just heard, she said we're going to reconnect back with her, and she's going to let me know when to call her and get her back on air. Peter, but you heard what she said. It's interesting how they broke it down to the regions. Like, she was saying that she compared it, which is a good comparison. She compared it to the World Cup and how they do the World Cup. And for those who listen to us from St. Lucia, we know how the World Cup goes. So she's not just against the whole thing. They broke it down to regions now, which makes it a little bit more competitive for her, for smaller countries in the Caribbean, instead of going against all the big countries in one big group. Now they have it down to certain different regions, which makes it gives her a better chance to get into the finals. Okay? And with that said, we can look at, this is why the voting is so important. That's why we need listen, St. Lucia has, 160,000 people? Peter, is that the estimate on St. Lucia's population? Okay. Yep. So that means she should be getting, if you have a calculator in front of you, 160,000 times 10, because everyone has 10 votes. Well, you know what, let's take it to 100,000 people, because you have to be a certain age to vote, right? So we take the 60,000 off the young people who can't vote. So we go down to 100,000 people and we multiply that by 10. She should be getting that at least. Now, as I'm on air with you, I got two Facebook messages from people who are not Lucians who follow me, who just told me they just voted. Okay, so now we are over to midnight, so then every day you have 10 votes. Okay, so I just we got to impress this on people. If we just take we take the number down to 100,000, multiply that by 10 for Lucians alone, and then you figure all the people who follow us who are not Lucians, follow us. Hey, thank you, Lilia, for listening. I have all these people tell me they're listening right now. Great. For those who are just coming in on the call, Louise Victor was on with us. She just got an important message from her people, so she had to jump off the phone to take this message from her people in Las Vegas. She's going to send me a message and let me know when we could call her and reconnect back with her. So this is very important as we're listening. So she was talking about the voting, and if you missed it, that's what Peter and I are going over right now. She told us how they broke it down to those of us who follow World Cup soccer, and she has a great, World Cup soccer, how they have the different regions around the world for World Cup soccer, and this is what they did with the Miss Universe contest this year. So she's in the region for the Central, South America, and the Caribbean. So she has a better chance of making it to the finals now, and then the top 4 make it, and then the wild card, the 5th person, based on the voting, will get in. Okay, so the votes are very important, family. So important, because if she's not able to get it on the top 4, she could get it on the wild card to number 5 in from her region with the voting. So every vote counts. Peter, and I'm looking at the first page right now. They said the voting closes in 2 days, 12 hours, 29 minutes, and counting down 27, 26 seconds. So we have 2 days, Lucian, 2 days, 12 hours, and 29 minutes before those voting close. We need you to go on the website for missuniverse.votenow.tv, okay? missuniverse.votenow.tv. We need you to go on there. We need you to vote. You have 10 votes. You scroll down, you see Louise Victor, and then underneath you hit the vote, and then it says plus, minus. Hit the plus until you see the number 10 come up. Then underneath that, you submit your vote, okay? You got to submit the vote, okay, if it's for it to count.
Uh-huh.
So it's very important, Peter. It's so important that we need the family to do this for us, because she's doing, Peter, she's doing a great job already. She got to the world stage. Okay, she went through all the stuff in St. Lucia in the Caribbean. She did all that stuff. She said it took her 4 years. She prepared herself 4 years to get to this level. I don't know how many people have followed her for the last 4 years. I wasn't following her. I probably followed like maybe 1 or 2 of those 4 years. But I'm being real here, Peter. But she did what she had to do. For all those who play football, soccer in the U.S., or play cricket, who follow all the cricket players. You don't go to every game they play in the locals or the regional, but when they get to World Cup soccer, World Cup cricket, you're there supporting, right? So Miss Universe is our World Cup, our World Cricket stage. She made it to that stage. Now we need to help her get to the next level, and that's what the voting's going to do. So people who are listening, we need your vote. Go ahead, Peter. Say what you got to say, Peter. And those who are listening, this is Peter Lynn Rene. He's the point person for the Uccn Caribbean Film Festival. He's a born Lucian like myself. So what do you think about that, Peter?
Well, the voting, she very eloquently told us why that's important, and because I had no idea. I had no idea how it was weighted, and how if you're on the bubble, the voting can get you over the finish line. So that was very important to know. I'm watching. I'm on it right now, and I apparently I'd voted 9 times and I had 1 vote left. So I just added my vote for the day. So I'll have to wait till it recycles again tomorrow. But I think that. What we're seeing is it's something wonderful, because even as I was saying earlier that we have 15 contestants, and it would have been more had it not been for the hurricanes that devastated so many of the different islands. And I did also mention that I was sad that in 2016 we did not have a representative from St. Lucia, because again we're not giving these young ladies the support, especially the financial support that they need to really ascend to these international events. The regional events are very nice, are very, very good, especially some of the Jamaican events that PIF was a part of this past year, which has been in existence for decades, and these are very, very good proving grounds for these young ladies. But once we get past the regional, it takes a little bit more to get prepared for the national and international spotlight, and a lot of people do not realize that it's not just about getting a nice outfit and walking out there. It's about having the right coaching. It's about having someone, an experienced person, to teach you how to speak. Because how many times, Ed, have we been watching the interview round and these young ladies struggle with their answers? So it takes sponsorship, it takes capital, it takes an investment to make sure that we send the best of the best to these competitions, who in turn will bless the country with additional attention, whether it's business investments, whether it's tourism arrivals, whatever synergies, it will create some synergy. It's not going to be a one-way thing, and my organization, we've been approached by many small pageants in St. Lucia looking for sponsorship, because they just cannot seem to find it on island, and a lot of them have since folded or just on hiatus. And those small pageants, these are small town and village pageants that lead up to the city pageant, and then the Carnival Queen pageant, and then Miss St. Lucia. So it's a feeder pattern. And if we don't get the resources involved from the very beginning, it makes it very hard for us to have someone of Louise's caliber in the competition, and to avoid having a year like 2016 where we had no representative at all. That was not a very good thing.
Hey, Peter, do me a favor. She just told me she's ready, and real quick, I'm going to jump off to go get it, and I'll be back. But for those who are listening, this is a special show where we're talking to Miss Universe St. Lucia, Miss Louise Beckler. She's live in Las Vegas. She had to jump off the phone for a second because for logistic briefing she had to take. And we have to be very clear that, at this point right now, security is very tight in Vegas for these young women. You have women from several different countries out in Vegas. It's high profile, a lot of media, so they have to be very cautious about the security on them, so they get their briefings like the night before. So what's going to happen? So she just had to jump off the phone to get her logistic briefing for the next day, because they are 3 hours behind New York and 4 hours behind St. Lucia right now. So Peter, I'm going to jump off the phone for 1 second, go bring her back up, and then I'll be right back. Okay, Peter. So please let the people know a little bit about what she was talking about. For those who are calling in, the call-in number is 917-889-7765, 917-889-7765, and press 1 if you want to say something to Ms. Victor when we get her back on. You need to press 1. If you don't press 1, I will not bring your call up, because there are people who are just listening from different parts of the world. Good morning to the people in Botswana who just hit me up there listening, Ms. Corny Bird in New York. I just want to thank all the people who are listening to us right now. I'm about to jump off the line for 1 second. Peter Lynn Renee, who is my co-host, who is based in Houston, Texas, who is the point person behind the Houston Caribbean Film Festival, is online with me. He's going to take over the show while I go. So, Peter, you got the show, okay?
All right. But yes, welcome again to all of you listening worldwide. This is it's a pleasure to have Louise here. As Ed has mentioned, they keep these young ladies very, very busy, and it was very, very kind of her to take time out to speak with us. One of the things that they do at this pageant, and if you follow it day by day, and you whether it's on Facebook or on their page itself, they conduct several clinics, several classes for these young ladies. It's not just about running, walking their on stage and so on. They teach them a lot of things, everything from finance, educational, and so on. So they get a chance not only to meet fellow contestants throughout the Caribbean region, but throughout the world, and create lifelong associations and even friendships. So again, I think that for the Caribbean region, we have, including Louise, 15 different representatives. And I think that's very, very a good thing to say, because that is more representatives from any particular part of the world, including Europe, who I think has 13 representatives at the contest. Again, one of the things that we also like to focus in on, a lot of these young women are very much driven. They have special passions. They have things that they are championing. Louise, for example, she recently won a scholarship to do her master's degree in London at a very prestigious school. So she is juggling that as well as appearing at the Miss Universe pageant. So that is one thing that I have to give her kudos for, because over the summer she was told that she would be a recipient of that full scholarship, and I often wondered how she would create the balancing act between that and being at the university, and she's doing it very, very well. One of the other things. Yes, she is.
She's a Lucian. What are you talking about?
That's right.
What? And we have her back on air, Peter. She's back on with, and Louise, can you hear us okay?
I can, yes.
Okay. Yeah, Peter was just talking about your schedule, going to school. You took a little time off to do this. and we're going to get back into the voting. But let's talk a little bit about that. For those who are listening, we are live. We are Reconnect Live with Miss Universe St. Lucia, Miss Louise Victor in Las Vegas, live with us on air. So, Louise, let's talk a little bit about your schedule, man. You were in school. Now you're in Vegas. Went from the UK to Vegas. What's going on? How's that going on?
Well, I think after preliminaries, my body was like, okay, Louise, you need to relax. And I've been fighting a cold. But I did my school, Cardiff University. They were very, very supportive in me and understanding of me being out. They did put certain things in place for me to be able to Skype into classes, but the intensity of our schedule and the difference, it's an 8-hour difference. So it in as much as it was planned out, it was not feasible. Otherwise, I would have probably dropped dead by now, because we literally have, like, today we started rehearsals from 9 o'clock all the way to 8 o'clock. Last night we finished at 10 p.m. And then there's always a briefing or something that happens after. So there's intense security. So you can't, it's not like rehearsals are done and you can just go. You cannot leave any single spot without being accompanied by someone. The only level you're allowed to be on is the level that we're on, and you can go to the other girls' rooms and whatnot, but apart from that, you cannot be anywhere on your own. So it's overwhelming, not in a bad way, but overwhelming that it's really a lot to have to balance and manage. But once you're focused, then you're able to do it well. Because even on Monday, for the preliminaries, because we had a full day of, I had my preliminary interview in the morning, then we had a full day of rehearsal, and then we went straight into getting ready for the preliminary show. So it's not like other shows you have an entire day to rest or you have the afternoon off. It's literally you train and then you go right into delivering. As my supervisor came, we were just told that we run a full pre-show on Sunday morning from 9 a.m. and then we start to get ready for the main show at 4. So it's people would see the final product on stage and think, oh, these girls are just up there competing for a crown, but there is so much that goes on in the background that people don't understand and also respect, because there are still those labels and stereotypes of, what being a beauty queen means. And even for me, despite my involvement in the community, despite my work with NYC, despite being a scholar and balancing my academia, once people hear that, you're a quote-unquote beauty queen, then it's like everything else disappears. But for me, I just continue to maintain a healthy outlook on what it is I came to achieve and what it is that I'm working towards. I would say when I was living, before I left home to move to Wales for school, I was like, wait, the final quarter of the year and two of my biggest immediate dreams and goals are manifesting themselves, that of pursuing my master's in international PR and being here for Miss Universe. And I said, you know what? Don't overthink it, Louise. Don't try to figure it all out. Just leave it in God's hands, and everything will work out.
Okay. Wow. That's Peter. I'm listening to her, and I'm feeling tired.
Well, me too, Louise. Now, if it wasn't for my schedule, I would actually be with you in Las Vegas, because I was approved for press credentials, and I may still surprise you on Sunday, but I just could not get away. But one of the things that you said, and I mentioned that earlier while we were reconnecting with you, is that it is more than just a beauty queen, because there's so many small pageants in St. Lucia that have reached out to my Caribbean Foundation for assistance and sponsorship, because it is not readily available in St. Lucia. And what I mentioned earlier was that if we put the time, effort, and resources into the small town pageants, which lead all the way up to Carnival Queen and Miss St. Lucia and so on, then we are building a spokesperson like yourself that goes beyond just beauty queen. You're an eloquent speaker. You speak very passionately about the country. And guess what? Someone is looking on there that could lead to more tourism arrivals, that could lead to someone wanting to come in and invest in the country. So you're right. It's more than just being a beauty queen.
And yeah, you're so right, Peter, that people often think that I'm just going to do this pageant and that's it. But it's really, there's a grooming, there's a global perspective that's needed, because Miss Universe it's a job interview. It's you're assuming a position of global leadership. You don't, when you become Miss Universe, you're not all over the place doing fashion shows or doing photo shoots here and there. You're an ambassador. You engage with people, you connect with people, you speak on behalf of an organization. And so it's not about the crown and the sash. Yes, they may be symbolic and tradition. However, there is so much more to it. You have a full-time job that you get paid a full salary, that you operate from New York for the year, and it's not just a crown and a sash.
Okay. Louise, let me ask you a question. I don't know if you know the answer to this, and for those who are listening, on Friday, 3 p.m. New York time, the Miss Joyce Metric is going to be on with us, the managing director of Simmons Events Promotions, and she's a national director for Miss Universe St. Lucia. She's going to be on air with us, and we're going to talk to her about a lot of all the nuts and bolts behind the Miss Universe contest. But as we have you on tonight, I don't know if you know the clock for voting and the days left. Is that based on time in Vegas, or is that based on time on the East Coast? Do you know that? Because I'm looking at the clock, and I know it says 2 days so forth. Is that based on Vegas time, Pacific time, Eastern time? Do you know?
If I read it, I would be able to know. But as far as I know, the show will happen at 4 o'clock Vegas time, which is 8 o'clock.
That'll be 8 o'clock St. Lucian time and 7 o'clock U.S. Okay.
Yes,
East Coast time. Yeah, because I want to ask Miss Joyce about the voting, because I know the voting closed. I'm looking at the clock on the Miss Universe website right now. It says 2 hours, 12 hours, 11 minutes. I don't know if that's based on Pacific time.
No, that is. I believe that is Eastern time.
Eastern time? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Guys, so for those in St. Lucia who listen to us, that's Eastern time, that's New York time, and you're 1 hour ahead of New York. So
yes, because that's where the Miss Universe head office is in New York. So everything that is communicated would be based on New York time. Yeah.
Okay. I always want to bring that up because I don't want no one to say, "Oop, I missed out on the time." I like to take excuses away from people. Yeah. So family, if you go on the website for Miss Universe, that clock is based on New York time. Just be clear. So you got 2 hours, 12 hours, and 10 minutes left, okay? And it's 10 votes every day. Louise, I want to get back into the voting with you real quick about how does the Twitter work? Because, you could tweet. How does that work on the voting for you?
Right. So you just hashtag Miss St. Lucia, and St. Lucia is SAINT. St. Lucia, not SD. Just has to hashtag Miss St. Lucia, hashtag Miss Universe. You can tweet and retweet as many times as you like. And of course, there is the statistical way that the data will be gathered and monitored. So you can retweet as much as you like, but your profile must be public. Your account must be a public one. If it's private, then it does not qualify. So if you are going to be tweeting, then your account must be public.
Okay. So let me ask you something on the tweeting and the regular voting. What's the difference in scores? Like, do you get 1 point, 2 points? How do that work? Do you know? I'm going to ask Ms. Joyce these questions on Friday, but since we have you on air now, I don't know if you are aware of how that works. And like, you get 10 votes if you on that.
There was. I know we did receive. I'm trying to see if I see my my folder with all of my information near me. I do have everything in a folder, but I'm not seeing. I think it's in my handbag.
Okay, don't worry about it. I'm going to ask Miss Joyce about it on Friday. It just came to me as I'm looking at it. What I do want you to do, because, getting you to Vegas was not easy, is expensive. And so let me give a shout out and thank you to your sponsors. So that way the sponsors, those who have sponsored you, made it possible for you to get to Vegas. Do you have a listing of those sponsors?
Well, actually, no. Miss Joyce would have all of that because all the sponsorship would go through Cinnamon Productions. So she would have that. But there's been a lot of social media support in terms of influencers and people who have a huge reach that have been very, very supportive. Like, for example, LUCIA, that's Lamar, and also Wavemaker, that's James Ajoda. The Carnival bands have also been very, very supportive in pushing, as well as the radio stations and the other media houses like the Wave, RCI. So there's a lot of Radio 100. So there's that type of effort in that regard. But in terms of the full listing of sponsors, then Miss Metric would have all of that.
Yeah, and we will have her on air with us. Joyce Metric will be on air with me on Friday, 3 p.m. New York time. We confirmed that with her today, and I'd like to thank her for all the information she's been sending me. And your ground crew in St. Lucia has been sending me the pictures. I'd like to thank them for making this possible. So, Peter, if you have any questions, please. And those who are listening who like to call in and say hi, support to Ms. Victor, to Louise, the call-in number is 917-889-7765, 917-889-7765, and you have to press 1 to bring your call up. If you don't press 1, I will not bring your call up, because there are people who are just listening. And Louise, you got a hello from Botswana. Black Gypsy, one of our poets, is listening. She said hello to you, and she looks forward to meeting you when she comes to PIF next year. She said, hope I can meet her next year when I come to PIF. I said, well, she might be in school, but anyhow, but she wanted to say hello to you because she's listening to the show in Botswana right now, because we do have over 60 countries who follow this show. So we're really happy about that. Peter, you have any questions for Ms. Victor?
Not as much as a question, observation. I am very happy to hear the groundswell of support that you have, because in past years, whether it's been Roxanne, whether it's been our girl in New Orleans, that fabulous Caribbean restaurant, it's always been slow and it's always been very slow in coming. And in both of those instances, my organization was the one that really got the engine going, and then eventually everyone jumped on board. And it would be good to see more of that up front initially than to be a jump on the bandwagon thing, because after all, we have 15 islands in the competition, and that's more than any other region of the world, including Europe. So I think it would be very beneficial for us, especially and in your case, to have that groundswell of support from the very beginning, and we can just run with it.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
Louise, even something that has, I have observed it, but then I haven't given any energy to it. Is just that, despite, I know that there's, there will always be naysayers, but despite all of that support and that sense of patriotism that happens during those periods, I still find that it's unfortunate when people still make it a point to go out of their way to still look for what's not good or what's not working, as opposed to realizing the potential or the opportunity that can be if energies are simply channeled differently. So as opposed to just criticizing for criticizing's sake, let's maintain some type of objective thinking, that it's not necessarily always about your opinion, that you can sit back and take in something and be educated or be informed on a different perspective, as opposed to just thrashing out, I don't like this, I don't think this should be done, and whatnot. yeah, that's just an observation.
And it's very true.
Thank you.
Right. During individual competitions, during the competition to win the crown in St. Lucia was one thing, but now that you have won it, then it's just time now to get behind the winner and put all opinions and that kind of thing aside and support Miss St. Lucia. It's not Miss Meku, it's not Miss Castries, it's not Miss Grosley, it is Miss St. Lucia. So I wholeheartedly agree with what you're saying.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Louise, with that, what you and Peter just said, let's put a call out to the people. What do you need from us? Because we got to get you into the finals, girls. So, what do we, Lucians, those who love St. Lucia, those who are supporting you from all over the world, what do you need us to do? What do we need to do?
Well,
so
first of all, I've got a plate of bacon saltfish on the way for you, so that should arrive at your room tomorrow.
And I need a piece of zaboka on the side also, Peter.
Oh, of course.
Okay. Oh, Lord. Go ahead, Louise.
So we ready? Okay.
Yeah.
So you go to vote.missuniverse.com and you are allowed 10 votes per day per email address. So let's say you have 8 email addresses. That's 8 times 10 for the day. Mm-hmm. So that's for the website. And on Twitter, you use the hashtag Miss Universe, hashtag St. Lucia. And retweets count, and it's as easy as that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want you to put that out there. And those who are listening, if you still didn't get that, go to her Facebook page, Louise L. Victor, and you can see that information right on there on her Facebook page for Miss Universe St. Lucia. So Louise
and
L.
also
Victor.
on my Instagram, I also have the link is in my bio,
mm-hmm.
and my Instagram is Lulu L Victor, LOULUL Victor. You're probably wondering what the L is. L is for my middle name, Lisa. And it's the same thing on Twitter, Lulu L Victor on Twitter.
Okay. So, family, you're hearing that. We're giving you all the social connections for her. We need you all to go out and do this. We need to push her. I want you all to imagine this. I want people who are listening to think about this. When she gets to the finals, when she gets across there, you could say you helped make that happen. A little island in the Caribbean, St. Lucia, and we helped make this happen. We're strong, we're powerful, we can make this happen. This is so important that we push her because, once again, like Peter said and like Louise said, this is not about individual parts of St. Lucia. This is about the island of St. Lucia. This is about us pushing our homeland. Very important because, like Peter said just now, you don't know who's watching, who's looking at her, and because of what she does on this world stage, there might be business opportunities that might want to come to St. Lucia now and check us out. There's people who are always looking to invest, and if they see what she's doing and like what she's doing, they might just come to St. Lucia, and they might get a job for you when they come to St. Lucia. So this is way bigger than Miss Louise Victor. This is about St. Lucia, about repping us on the world stage. Louise, I want you to talk about how has it been if you meet all these contestants from different countries, different languages, different food likes, and some of them like bacon saltfish and all kinds of stuff. So how has it been for you on that experience for you?
In as much as I came here feeling very confident and being focused on the mission at hand, I still had those, especially on the first 2 days of registration, when you come in and there's a checklist that you need to go through for various photo shoots, it's basically like when you're going to register at school, like you need to go to this office and that office, wardrobe and your bio verification, costume description. So you go through that process, and everybody's arriving during those 2 days, so it's a lot. And I mean, to walking in for somebody to look at your sash and just be like, St. Lucia, like you can literally see, like they're probably thinking, where is that? So I did have those moments of feeling inferior, of feeling like, okay, you know you're human, so you kind of just like, wow, okay, because everybody is looking out for the big countries, and that's the thing. It's not about the girl. People look out for the country, so they look out for like Philippines, for example. Philippines is very, very popular all over the hotel. Everywhere you go, people will flock to Miss Philippines. People will flock to Miss Venezuela or to Miss Peru because those it's in their culture that they love pageantry and they go all out to support their girls. So it's easy if you're not mentally strong to really be consumed by feeling that you're a nobody. But I keep telling myself that, Louise, you're here on a mission, that God didn't bring you here for nothing. God didn't defer this dream from 2014 when you first participated and finished first runner-up until now. Those 3 years that you were not able to be on that stage, that was serious preparation for all that is happening now. And I've done a really good job just in maintaining my presence and just knowing that, hey, Sainusha is in the building. And it actually marks 40 years since we first debuted on the Miss Universe stage. In 1977 we would have, and this is our 6th representation. And it also marked 40 years since the first woman of color from Trinidad and Tobago, Janelle Cummins-Young, also affectionately known as Penny, was crowned. So who knows, this year can be very, very historic for us.
Yeah.
No,
Louise,
what can... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Peter.
No, Louise, what can we do to boost, to keep the numbers consistent? Because you said 7 contestants in 40 years. I mean, so how can we keep that going to where we don't have such long stints in between representatives at the Miss Universe?
Well, I believe ultimately it boils down to the franchise holder. I know there are various challenges, but a franchise, like any other business, is about management. And so now that the franchise is in new ownership, I believe there is, and even with what's happening now with Miss Metric having acquired the franchise and the way that our presence is being maintained, the updates and whatnot, like people are appreciative of it. I think it allows for future investors or future sponsors to actually see that, okay, this is what is happening. And I think in the past there hasn't been enough of that. It hasn't been sufficient, and it's been, and if there has been, then it hasn't been done at the level that it should be. Because, I mean, we live in a world of constant promotional activity, so brands are looking for presence, brands are looking for alignment, brands are looking for equity. So it's about aligning your product as a franchise, and basically packaging it in a way that people would want to come on board. So I think that's where it's at now and where it will go. But I believe it's also young ladies wanting to, like, literally wanting this. Because it's one thing to ask somebody to do a pageant. It's one thing to tell somebody they have potential. But if they do not want it, then it's not necessarily worth investing the time, the energy, much less the financial resources. And I think that young ladies need to stop seeing pageantry as, just the beauty and the glitz and the glamour, but seeing that it's an opportunity for very, very critical, both professional and personal development. And I really am a living testimony of that, because the growth that I've experienced from National Carnival Queen to up until now, especially in my professional and where my career is now, it really stemmed from that exposure that I got for pageantry, in as much as I would have done youth parliament and whatnot. So in terms of my speech, I would have had that public speaking training and been refined in that way. But still, there is, because you also become a brand. So you need to, in as much as you're an individual and you need to be relatable, the truth is you're a brand. So you must always represent your brand and always know that, okay, where is the next level? Has my brand matured? What do I need to do next to elevate? And so for me, like for even this year, I knew, for example, I had to begin my master's. And so I started working on it from last year because I need to be at the next level in my career. So it's about being very intentional with what you want in life, whether it be pageantry, whether it be culinary, whatever it is, just literally taking your life and putting in the action. It's not enough to just dream and just to wish and to think positively. It needs to be directly, there needs to be work that you're putting in to be able to see your progress.
Yeah. No, thank you for saying all that, Louise. Those who are listening, I hope they got, because this is, like you said, it's way more than just the glitz and glam on the stage. There's a lot going on behind the stage. And I know I'm going to be talking to Miss Metric about how PIF, how the Piton International Film Festival will work with Miss Universe St. Lucia next year, because, we just came on board with her this year. And I'd like to thank her and thank all the people who are supporting us on that level, especially our business partners, Ted Paul and Sue Frere, who I work with. We are based out of in Sue Frere.
That's one of my favorite places in Sue Frere.
You see, yeah, that's our home base. And for those who listen, how did Tiff get connected to Miss Louise Victor? Going back to 2013, as you were talking about before, I was introduced to you by Dr. Gail Rigobert, who told me about you when I was on the island, and then you. And this is where, I always tell people, just ask the question. The person might say yes, no. You came up and you asked me to do a photo shoot for you. And we did the photo shoot right there at the Blue St. Lucia Hotel, and that's how we connected since 2013. Yeah. So for those young people who are listening, open your mouth and ask a question. You never know. The person might say yes to you, and you never know where it might take you, because from a simple question she asked me in 2013, look where we are right now.
Yep.
And you never. Yeah, that's right.
And that's a very critical skill set in today's professional world.
Yes, and that's very. I'm bringing up so people can understand and hear what we're saying, because I told some people, and they said, well, it's gonna be 1 o'clock in St. Lucia when we had you on, and a couple of radio stations said they would love to play the tape. So we're gonna be sending the recordings out to St. Lucia. The link will be on my website for the show, and so that way people could actually get on board and support you. And I like to say something, Peter and Louise, those who are listening to us. Please don't wait until the last day to vote. You have 10 votes every day. And right now, as I'm talking to you, people are retweeting. It's coming to my phone. All this retweeting, people who are retweeting the tweets I sent out of, how the hashtag. People are hitting it. I'd like to thank all the people who are hitting it. Please keep on hitting it. And like we said just now, those two, the time clock on the site is based on Eastern time in the U.S., so you have 10 votes every day, Peter, and for each email. Like I have like 7 e-boxes for my business purposes. Okay, I
have more than 11.
So each e-box you can vote from, and so let's be real about it. 100,000 people in St. Lucia. I took 60,000 off for the young people who can't vote. 100,000 people in St. Lucia, and then we have other people outside of St. Lucia, and we have people who just love St. Lucia. 10 votes per. Come on, family. We could get her into her region. We could, if she doesn't get to the top 4, we could wild card her in as number 5 from her region. Okay, and so we have the power to put her in the finals. Let's make it real. I'm serious. Let's make this happen. So and then the live show is this Sunday. So,
yes, it is.
Yeah, so Louise, and I just want to thank you. I want you to send them. You know what? I'm big on the young people. My wife and I, we're very big on young people and educators. I want you to send a message out to the young people, especially the young people in St. Lucia. Some of them might know you from the work you've done in St. Lucia. So I want you to send a special message to them, if you might, please.
I would say to them, just never settle. Like, there is. See beyond your circumstance. As difficult as it may be, as cliche as it sounds, just that it's the possibility of something coming to fruition is what drives me. That at least if it doesn't happen, I'm content with knowing that I did try, did attempt, and even I've also been very deliberate, as I said, the word try in terms of my vocabulary. So. I was reading a book called, I think it's by Dr. something Dyer, and he gave the analogy.
Wayne Dyer?
Wayne Dyer, yet. Mm-hmm. I think it's 9 Spiritual Awakenings I'm seeing the cover, but the name is not coming to me. And in it said that you don't try to do something. You were speaking about how you speak to yourself, and it said that you don't, when someone tells you, oh, you look really well, instead of I'm trying, instead of those little things have power. And it said that if you're lifting up a pen, you don't try to lift up a pen. It's either you lift it or you don't. And so if you're doing anything in life, it's either you're doing it or you're not. And that, as simple as it is, it was so profound for me. And every time I find myself saying try, I always pull it back, and I always say I'm doing my best. I'm not trying my best. I'm doing my best. And again, it goes back to being intentional, not just with your action, but with your thoughts and your words. And it's beyond just what's on the exterior. You must invest in yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And I know young people tend today sometimes get so caught up in everything on social media and, believing in the hype. But there's more to it, and I mean, Chronic says it best, substance over hype. So eventually the hype will die, and you're going to need your substance to be able to carry you through the rest of your life. So make time to invest in yourself, not necessarily in, purchasing something, but make time to read a book, make time to spend time with yourself, make time to put your phone down for half an hour or for a day and just taking everything around you. So that's my pieces of advice. I know I said a lot, but my pieces of advice.
No, that's not a lot. That's what they need to hear. That's what our young people, right? Peter, you can say amen to that, right?
Oh yeah, very well said.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the young people need to hear. They need to hear it from you. You are a face on the international stage, and they want to hear you say it, because I think it's important that they hear you say it from your lips. And I know you are very busy, but definitely, people, please send her a message on her social media. She might not be able to get back to you because she is getting this crunch time now in Vegas. But you know what? Let's send it to her, because when she has time, when she sits down, has some downtime after everything's over, she can go back and read all the messages. She is one of ours. She's homegrown. She's a Lucian. We need to support her, family. No excuses. We can make this happen. We have to make this happen, period. Peter, I know you want to say something in closing, because I know Louise got to get some rest because she has to be up early in the morning. So, Peter, you want to say something in closing?
Well, I just think that this is a very, very statuesque, elegant young woman that has done much to elevate the stature of St. Lucia, and it does not come from just her outward appearance. It's the fact that she is well grounded in St. Lucia, former head of the NYC, very much alive and active in the community, especially motivating our youth. Prolific speaker, very much an elegant presence in St. Lucia, and someone that I believe has the mantra to represent us very, very well on the world stage as she's doing right now. So I say to all my Lucians, and even if you're not a Lucian, all the other countries in the Caribbean, hey, come on, support us. We're all in this together. We have to bring that crown back to the Caribbean, because when Louise brings it, she's going to be in every island showing that off and showing unity and giving thanks and praise to everyone who supports. So I really believe that we have one of the best candidates in the competition, and I really, really believe that we're going to do very well on Sunday. So everyone keep voting. Keep sending messages and your thoughts and prayers, most definitely, and keep it locked to that TV on Sunday. That's all I'm saying. Do not let anything interrupt watching her take that crown.
Yeah. Well, Louise, thank you so much for your time. We're going to shut the show down now, because I know you need to get some rest. I'm going to shut the show down with the song that we had this year, the theme song for PIF this year was done by Lucian, Showing Dukes by Bryce.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to thank him for supporting. He is now the music director for PIF. I'd like to thank him for coming on board and being the music director for PIF now. So we're going to go off the song Speak, which he wrote for him, Mecca, another Lucian, and two Bajans, Yannick Hooper and Aziza. They came on board to be part of the song. So it is a Caribbean song. So, Louise, thank you so much for your time. And God bless. You know how to get in touch with me. So you have my information. You know exactly how to get in touch with me, okay?
Yes. Thank
Okay.
you so much
All right.
again, Brother Ed. And also, Peter, thank you for your constant and usual support. I really, really appreciate it.
No problem. You're most welcome, and I hope you have a very, very nice night. Sweet dreams. Dream of bacon saltfish now. Be sure of that, okay?
Actually, you know what I've really been craving? Just some coconut water straight off a tree.
Ooh,
wow. Yes.
I'll send
Louise, you
one
have a
to
wonderful
you.
night, morning, and we will keep pushing it on our side, okay?
Thank you so much.
Okay. Good
All
night.
right. Yeah, bye-bye.
Okay.
Good night.
Okay, bye. Well, family, you've been listening to Miss Louise Baker, Miss Universe, and she was live from Las Vegas with us. I'd like to thank her for her time. You know, as you heard, she has a hectic schedule, but she put time aside to sit down and talk to us for a few. And even though we had a little phone challenges, we got over that, and we were able to bring. I'd like to thank my co-host, Mr. Peter Lynn Rene, another Lucian like myself. I'm in Philadelphia, he's in Houston, and we are part of Caribwood. The third component, the two other components is Chicago and Hampton Roads. So we Caribbean people, we're pushing our agenda in the U.S., and I'd like to thank everyone. Peter, I got some music going in the background. You want to say anything as we go out?
No, I think this is great. I think the one thing that I would encourage the new pageant owners is to not just look into St. Lucia, but look to the diaspora, because as you know, Ed, the only time our countries seek us is when there's a disaster. They never think of us in terms of business, in terms of our connections and our willingness to do more than just disaster recovery and relief efforts. We are happy to also invest in the youth and in our young ladies. So I would encourage them as we go forward to also seek out the diaspora for support for young ladies such as Louise in helping us bring home that crown.
Yeah, definitely. And as we close, I'd like to just thank everyone who support what we do at the Toronto International Film Festival. You can go to our website, pitonfilmfestival.org. And since I am talking a lot of Lucians, it's Piton. For those who are not Lucian, it's Piton, filmfestival.org. And you can drop me an email from there, and you will see Louise on our homepage when you get on the site. I'd like to thank everyone for supporting us. Like I said, we're going to go out tonight with a song by Sherwin Dukes Bryce, Speak, which was our theme song for PIF this year. And we'll be back at PIF this year, next year in August. But we do all year round. We're doing something with PIF in Philadelphia and in St. Lucia and globally. And our family in Botswana who are listening to us, we're doing PIF in Botswana also, and South Africa now. So we'd like to thank everybody who's supporting what we're doing. And we go out tonight with the song Speak. Family, we'll talk to you on Friday at 3 p.m. New York time. We will have Miss Joyce Metric, who is the National Director for Miss Universe St. Lucia. She'll be on live with me from Vegas. So we go out tonight with Speak. Thank you, Peter. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Speak, yeah, reach, yeah, learn, yeah, teach, yeah, stop, breathe, believe, and succeed. Right. One voice is all that needs to speak. Then you will
for a little faith. A lot of room to grow, I just need a little space. I know where I wanna go, and I got a little taste. Now I'm hungry, gonna spread vibes from country to country. Why they gotta tell me all the things that I can't do? Can they see my flame? I'm a spark, I'm a candle. Never gonna reach if you never plant the seed. Yeah, one voice is all we need, all we need.
One voice is all we need.
That's all we need.
Then you will see.
Hear the voices shout loud and clear, loud and clear. I want to feel the people from far and near, never giving it up. When we come together, you got to speak for what you want. Keep your head up high, spread your wings and fly.
One voice is all it needs to be. Then you will see.
Believe in me even if you don't. I'ma help me up even if you won't. There's no I in team, but there's a M though. Me, myself alone, making it happen till the end though. And so, everybody looking on me, call me a zero now. What am I becoming, if not the hero? They say hip-hop is stupid, get a job, pretty joker. I accomplished more than they did, I ain't had to do soca. Just believe.
You know, like so many times you sit around and you're just trying to figure out, like, you know, how can I make a change? How can I make this world, you know, a better place? And it really just begins with, you know, giving somebody else a chance or letting somebody else feel like they matter. So, you know, just talk, you know. And then all those voices, they come together as like one voice, and they can change the world.